Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fearlessly Authentic. I'm your host, Jody Harrison Bauer, and I am so happy to have you join me for this episode today. This is the show that educates you, empowers you, maybe we entertain you a little bit, and inspires you to live your most fearlessly authentic life. Because in my humble opinion, if we're not trying to do that every single day, then what the heck are we doing here? We are a top 5% globally rated podcast, and it's all because of you. So please remember to rate, review, and subscribe, share with all of your friends, and we really appreciate you listening. Let's get on with the show. Welcome back to Fearlessly Authentic. I'm your host, Jody Harrison Bauer, and today we're talking about one of my favorite topics, dating. Dating after 40, 50, 60, after divorce, after reinvention, after being a completely new version of yourself. And here's the truth. Dating today looks nothing like it did 10 or 20 years ago, especially online dating. There is actually one day in January that is the single biggest online dating day of the entire year. And I want you to be ready for it. I want you to feel equipped, empowered, and confident because you deserve the connection that makes you feel good. So I brought back one of your favorite guests and one of the country's top dating experts, Bela Gandhi. Bela is the founder of Smart Dating Academy. She's been featured everywhere from Good Morning America to Today, and she has helped thousands of people date smarter, choose better partners, and stop wasting time on the wrong ones. Today, Bela and I are diving into everything from ghosting and breadcrumbing to emotional availability, dating after 50, and where online dating is heading next. So let's get into it. Welcome back to Fearlessly Authentic, Bela. January, the biggest online dating day. You said there's one day in January that's the biggest online dating day of the year. What is that, and what should women do to prepare for it?
The busiest online dating day is kind of the high point of something that we call peak dating season. So let me take a quick step back. Peak dating starts right around Christmas, and it goes until Valentine's Day. Now, what does that mean? Historically, online dating apps spike 50 to 80% during this peak time. Why is that? The holidays make us a little wistful. I wish I had somebody to kiss under the mistletoe. And then what happens January 1? It's New Year's Day. It's probably like people signing up for gym memberships, right?
Yes.
So suddenly everybody's like, oh my gosh, 48% of adults are unmarried in this country. So what do you think is at the top of their New Year's resolutions? I want to find lasting love. I want to get out there and date. So people flock to the apps in huge numbers. And Sundays are always the busiest day of the week, especially Sunday evening. So we have the Sunday after New Year's Day. Boom. Sunday, January 4th, Match has it pegged to 8:52 p.m. Eastern is the busiest minute of the busiest day of the year. Bananas.
That makes a lot of sense because, like you said, people want to suddenly get in shape. You know, they made their New Year's resolution. And I would suspect, I'm thinking I should really get into the dating business. If 48% of the people out there are single in this country, what a great business to get into. Smart Dating Academy. Okay, there you go. Oh, that's why you're so smart. And that's why you help so many people. So I can totally see that. Everybody wants a reinvention. They want to feel better about themselves. They want to find love. So 8:52 p.m. this Sunday after New Year's.
Correct. Is the busiest dating day of the year. We call it the dating Super Bowl. So it's crazy. So what you want to do, and listen, if you've been single even for 5 minutes, you've probably tried a dating app. Okay.
Right.
Now, what I want you to do is press reset on your mindsets, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Everybody says, I hate the dating apps. I'm going to tell you, imagine a world where there were no dating apps. We romanticize and fictionalize in our brains how easy it would be to just go out and meet all these amazing people. If you put your phone away, now think about, there's no apps. How am I going to meet somebody? Am I going to go sit at a bar alone 5 nights a week? Am I going to go to 10 meetup groups or 5 galas? No, right? Where is your deal flow the best? It's using the dating apps. I'll tell you, there was a girl that went viral, Jody. She's in her 40s. And I don't know if you heard this story, but I got called by Dateline or by Nightline on NBC, ABC. to do a segment on her, and she took out 12 billboards in California that said Mary Lisa, a picture of herself smiling, and she had set up a website that said marylisa.com. When you went to her website, she talked all about herself, lots of photos, what she's looking for, what age bracket, all of the things, right? So of course, when the media found out about this, everything went bananas. She was getting offers to be the Billboard Bachelorette. She's like, that is not why. She wasn't doing this to become a media star. She was like, I hated the apps. Lisa got 3,800 applications. Do you know?
Wow.
3,800 applications. I was like, oh my God. So I've talked to her since then. And then our segment that we did ended up on GMA together last week. So it's been this whirlwind for her. But what I will tell all of you is Lisa's still on the apps.
Is she?
What does that tell you? The quality of the people that were applying on the billboard. She wanted somebody 35 to 46 years old that lived in San Francisco. She was getting 18-year-olds. She was getting 90-year-olds. She was getting men from all 50 states. She was getting other people applying on behalf of somebody in their family. All these green card desirers. I mean, it was bananas, the things she was getting. So I'll tell you what. Don't hate the apps. Imagine your lives without them. How the hell would you meet somebody? I'm not saying the apps are the only game in town. Meet people in real life. Have a strategy to get your friends to set you up, but you've got to look at it as something that you should have as part of your overall plan.
What do they say? Don't hate the game, hate the something, but it's like, don't hate the animal, hate the way you're playing it, right? So it's like people hate to work out or they hate to change up their diet. They don't want to do the work. So they'll say, I hate working out. I hate, having to change the way I eat. Well, what's the alternative? You get sick and tired, and like dating, the apps are there to help us. So it's about dating smarter. It's about knowing how to date. And that's what you provide. Those are the services you provide, plus a lot more. But I think you do make a really good point in saying don't hate the apps, because I think it's become socially acceptable to say, I hate the apps. I'm off the apps. I'm getting off the apps. I hate them. There's no good men. And I hear this not just from women my age, but also from women in their 30s also, because now they feel like, oh, I'm 32, I'm 33. I haven't met anybody. I'm going to be out of the dating pool for men who are looking to meet somebody to have babies with. I'm getting too old. And so I think it's interesting to see like that millennial age, the 30 somethings now, and then my age group, or 55 and over, somewhere between Gen Z and the baby boomers, Gen X, and finding that, and then with gray divorce on the rise also, that I think you make a really good point. Don't hate the apps, learn how to work within it. It's like, again, another story. My daughter was talking about a friend of hers that just like, oh, I hate this and I hate that. And she's like, if you're not going to make a big change in the world and like become the president of the United States, or, really take charge of everything in this country, then you got to learn to live within it. You've got to learn to manage your feelings, manage the way you work within the system, right? So it works for you. So I think it's the same thing. I think that's a really, really good point.
And, Jody, I mean, to that point, think about, I'm Gen X, you're Gen X. It's like...
No, I'm a boomer.
Oh, you're a boomer. You look Gen X, girl.
1960. I'm going to be 65 at the end of this month. So there's that other generation.
We're adopting you in Gen X.
Okay, thank you.
But think about, people used to use awful words like, oh, she's an old maid. There's an old spinster over there. We don't use those words anymore because of the apps. Because my 83-year-old aunt can meet somebody on JDate and get married. That's what's happened to the world. And so, yes, don't hate the player, hate the game. Thank God for the apps. Change yourself to hopeful. If you hate the apps, you know what's going to happen? You're going to hate everybody that comes your way. This is what happens. This is what my company does with people. We teach you a system on how to actually meet people that will lead to lasting and happy love. Teach you what the red flags are. So we teach you our system, right? It's called high GPQ, high and good partner qualities. So you learn the framework, and then we're like a personal trainer for your love life, helping you message people, look for people. I can tell you when my clients are in bad moods or feeling, like Debbie Downer when they're looking at the apps, because I'm looking and they're going, what about this guy? What about this woman? They're like, oh, I don't know how I missed that woman. I'm like, because you had your Debbie Doom glasses on and everybody looks, right? I hear this. I'm like, let me get in there. And I'm not saying everybody's amazing, but you miss some gems when you're in that bad mindset.
Yes, I agree with you. I have not gotten there yet, but I will tell you from as a woman who's been in relationships since 2008, been in two different relationships from 2008 until now as I'm going through my divorce. And so I don't know. I have no idea what it's like to date. I don't have any game. I don't remember how to flirt. I don't even know what to do. I think that, I'm going to need your help because I think I'm going to be very uncomfortable and probably looking at the wrong people. So I can't wait until my divorce is final and I can start working with you because I would like to find somebody, it's like Noah's Ark. We were made to be partners. We were made to not live alone and be alone. I like my alone time. Part of that scares me a little bit, but we won't get into that right now. But I will need your help. And
well, I'm right here to help you. And we have a system. And in the 16 years since I started the company, we've had 0 divorces. And if you look at what's happening nationwide, first marriages divorce at a rate of 40%. Second marriages are 67%. And when we talk about trying it again with third marriages without intervention, it's almost 75%. So people go in there, to your point, we want pairs. We want the lid to our pot. And if this is you and it resonates with anybody listening, remember, this isn't your fault. Nobody taught you how to do this, right? We rely on chemistry. We rely on meet cutes. We rely on these lists of quantitative things like, I'm Jewish, he's Jewish. I'm Indian, he's Indian. I'm this tall, he's this tall. I've got this degree. And you know
true.
What? But that isn't what makes a happy relationship last today. For our grandparents, Jody, it was enough because at the year 1900, people were dying at the age of 30. So it's like, well, how bad can it be? We'll be together for 10 years. We're both going to croak. So you know what?
Right.
Give it a whirl. And as long as your farm's a little bigger than mine and, we're good. And that's all that mattered. But we're living well into our 60s, 70s, 80s, and we want that relationship, but we also want more than ever.
Yeah, it's very, very true. And we have this new lease on life because we are living longer and we do feel vibrant and alive. And we want to find the lid to our pot, as you love to say. I love that. So if let's get the foundations of dating smarter. What does it truly mean? You touched on a little bit, to date smarter today.
Look, I think number one, like anything, you need to have a plan. Okay?
Right.
And you need to have a framework. Okay. If I wanted to overhaul my physical health, if I said, I'm 50 pounds overweight and I don't like where my body fat percentage is and I'm not strong, I know I'm not going to be able to do that on my own. And if I do, I might hurt myself or sacrifice one thing for another. I'm going to hire the best, like you.
Right.
And to say, okay, Bella, here's where you are. We're going to do an assessment. What are your goals? Okay. And now put a plan together that's holistic. And with dating, people erroneously think that we should just be able to figure this shit out. And that's not the case.
You are so right, because why should we, what do you mean we have to hire somebody to teach us how to date? We should innately know how to do this, right?
Wrong. We want more than ever out of relationships, and we're living longer than ever. My God, if you want to learn to play golf, you hire a golf coach or a equestrian coach and every kind of coach or personal trainer. But when it's dating, people think, well, gosh, shouldn't I know how to do this? There's a lot of shame that goes into it. Did any of you go to dating school? No, I know that for a fact because it didn't exist until we were around. And so if you're having a hard time with this, just like anything else in your life, you are worth the investment. And it's the most important thing you will ever do in your life.
I think it's with a lot of things, especially love. Like I said, you think you just innately know how to love because maybe your first relationship was so easy or your first marriage was so easy. And then you realize that, as you said, the world isn't the same. It's changed. And we know we need to change because life goes on very, very quickly. And I think everybody who listens to this show is trying to better their life in some way or another. And how cool would it be to be your most fearlessly authentic dating person? Like, so you know how to date without fear and being yourself. And this is what your academy teaches people. And I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, thank you. And I think you do want to be fearlessly authentic, and you want to be authentic about the right things at the right time. And sometimes we think being authentic has to mean I need to put all my warts out there right away, because that's being real. And the fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, listeners, Jody, people need to earn your story. They don't get it up front just for asking.
I love how empowering you are. You don't just work with women, right? You work with men and women.
Both.
Yes. Okay.
Of all ages.
Do you work mostly with women, or do you really see this being a 50-50 split?
So our client base skews more heavily women. A lot of the guys that we get into our practice hear about us from women that they've dated or through my podcast, the Smart Dating Academy podcast. But we love working with men. And I'll tell you, men that come in for date coaching are really wholehearted, and they want to do better and they want to be better. So I tell my female clients, if I tell you I've got a client I want you to meet, run, don't walk, because we're well trained by us.
Right. And I know you're not a matchmaker, so
we're deeper than matchmaker.
Right. You go deeper than that. Right.
We go deeper than matchmaking. People, can I just go on my soapbox for 1 second about matchmaking?
I know you like to. Yes. Give it to us, Bella.
Give it to us, Bella. Get on your Oprah soapbox.
Yes.
Y'all romanticize matchmakers. Now, I'm not here to throw shade on anything. I just want you to know, in your heart of hearts, what can any yenta, any matchmaker know that is more than what a dating app can know? They cannot. They cannot know that this person is good for you and will align with you. They cannot know that this person isn't avoidant or narcissistic or has caused a lot of trauma in their relationship or has a lot of trauma. Matchmakers aren't superhumans. They can't know this. You want to work with someone who will help you pick all of the right matches, right? And keep that funnel active and watch you week over week to make sure that you're not landing with the wrong person. What are red flags? What are green flags? Sometimes my clients think, oh, that was a red flag. I'm like, that was not a red flag. You're the red flag in this. That's a green flag, because we don't know. We've never been taught how to do this.
I love this. I really, and I think about, when I'm training a woman, same thing. What are we trying to achieve here? Are we fighting for the same thing? And that means we have to take stock in who we are, be honest with who we are and the energy we're putting out there. And I think you mirror that it sounds like you mirror that to your clients to let them know, hey, this is what I'm seeing based on the energy you're putting out there. So that's what you're getting back. And I think so many of us are not aware of the energy we might be putting out there. And I think this is so incredibly helpful that a matchmaker would not see, because they don't see the conversations. They don't see all those little things. And I'm not here to throw shade on matchmakers either, but.
No, it's just, and like I said, they're just humans, right? And I'm not throwing shade, but people get so frustrated with matchmakers because their expectations are misaligned with what a matchmaker can realistically do. A matchmaker is a little bit more than a human Tinder machine, right? It's like they can't know more. So you have to think about what it is you really want. If you want to learn a system, you want somebody to walk with you week over week, like how you are with your clients, Jody, where you start to see real work and real success, but it takes time. And that's how dating is. There is no love in 90 days, people.
Right. And you can't lose 20 pounds in 20 days. So hear it from the experts right here.
And look at the Bachelor franchise. How many of them actually stay together? Right?
Right.
Okay.
No,
you can't force that kind of stuff. Chemistry does not equal long-term happiness or compatibility.
Amen. Okay.
T-shirts.
What are the biggest mistakes you see women make on dating apps? Especially, let's talk about the woman over 50, a recently divorced woman, a woman who's, suddenly single after 50. What kind of mistakes do you commonly see them making online?
I'm going to tell you something that's a little unexpected. One of the biggest mistakes I see smart, successful women making is they're not good at messaging. Their texts read as really dry or abrasive. And I will look at people's texts sometimes and say, I'm not sure if you know this, but this comes off kind of mean.
Oh.
Right? And
that's got to be hard. Oh.
Right. And people don't realize it. I'm like, remember, we're the truth tellers because we want you to get better results. And if our clients are firing off these messages that just seem abrasive and aggressive, and it's often women, it's often men, it's easy to warm up your messages, right? Put an exclamation mark, use an emoji. Don't just answer with one word. It looks really terse. As my kids say, it looks really dry. Dry means disinterested. And so this is not business texting. This is personal. Remember, 93% of the way we form first impressions of each other is based on nonverbal communication. Only 7% of the words that we use. What's in that 93%? Our eye contact, the way we look, the tone of our voice, right? Am I saying yes or yes? We lose. Now, what happens when we're texting? We lose the 93%.
We lose that emotion, yeah.
We lose all the nonverbal. And all we have is, would you like to go out with me? I had a man that was working with me when I first started. And I said, okay, you had a good first date, ask her out for a second date. So he texted her, I had a great time. Would you like to go out again on Thursday? And her response was, yes. And so he called me and he said, well, I'm not really sure she wants to go out with me. I said, well, she said yes. He screenshotted the text. And her one-word response, he's like, she could have said like, yes, exclamation mark, yes, with the smiley face, warm it up a little bit. And it's not because men are babies. Women read things the same way. It's confusing. We lose the 93%. You cannot lose by being warmer in your communications.
What do you have when someone comes to work with you? Should absolutely be included in the dating profile for a woman?
The most important thing is having good photos, not catfishery pictures, but pictures of you dressed up, looking great like you would for a date. Don't say it's false advertising if I dress up for photos because I normally don't wear makeup and I'm in yoga pants. Well, you know what? For a date, I'm hoping you're going to zhuzh yourself up a little bit. So your photos need to be zhuzhed, okay? Put on some makeup. Do your hair the way you would for an event or a date. Throw on something pretty. There's 6 different slots for photos. 2 can be headshots. 4 should be full body shots, right? And make sure the lighting is amazing in your photos. No sunglasses. I want to see your eyes. I want you smiling in the photos. No other people. We know you have friends. We know you have kids. Just you. If you were trying to sell a box of cereal, right? You're not going to be like, wow, maybe I should have other boxes of cereal in my graphic imagery. No, you'd only want your cereal. And yet we don't put ration to this in dating. Well, I should show I have friends. I'm like, no, your friends are distracting.
Yes, I agree.
Right? It's like I've seen people come to me with pictures of themselves with friends, and they'll be like, you know what? This picture always gets me the question like, hey, is your friend in the blue dress single? I'm like, oh my God.
Right.
Wrong. It's like, get those pictures out of there. I don't care if your friends are better looking or worse looking than you. You are the product in cyberspace.
Right. You're the product that you want to sell.
100%. So zhuzh up, take some great pictures and clothing that flatters you. And if you need help, call me, talk to Jody. You need somebody that will tell you that looks really good on you, or that looks a little schlumpy. Like, I want you to wear something that really flatters you. This is good photography is part art and part science.
Right, like put your best foot ever. And there used to be like some shaming. Oh, they went for a photo shoot. I don't think you're suggesting a photo shoot. You're just saying show up in your photos the way you would want to show up on a first date. Show up as if you're going out for dinner, out for coffee, whatever it is, and look pretty. Like look your best. Put your best foot forward. Do your hair, do your makeup. Put some effort into it, because you're going to want whoever you start talking to put effort into what they're doing also. Like it works both ways, right?
100%. And I do have people do photo shoots. You know why? Because it's fun and my clients are worth it. And it's worth having somebody help you and somebody that's really skilled in good lighting versus like setting a timer on your tripod and trying to take a picture of yourself.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
They don't need to be, cheesy glam shots, right? But you want it to look like a good lifestyle photo shoots. I have clients from everywhere fly to Chicago to work with the photographer that I refer to in the city, and they do amazing work. And my clients are like, oh God, it sounds kind of weird, to your point, to have to get a photo shoot. Isn't it desperate? And then they get then they have the shoot. They're like, that was the most fun I've had in so long. I felt amazing. I felt like I was really pretty. I felt like I deserved this. And guess what? The photos emanate that energy, Jody. It's worth $1 million. And
it's so empowering.
Gorgeous. And then I tell other people, that are out there that aren't smart daters. I'm like, look at the kind of photos we're putting out there of our clients. That's your competition.
Right. And I think back in the day, there was that shaming about getting a photo shoot. But I think now, and from somebody who's done a million photo shoots, I'm always surprised when I get pictures back thinking, oh, I didn't know I look like this, or wow, that was a great shot. Is that really me?
Yeah.
And I think that's where the empowerment comes from. And I think, like you said, it shows up in the photos. You see the confidence, you see the vibrancy in a man or a woman, and the pride that they're taking in the way they show up for the shoot. So I like that. I like that you're really focusing on the pictures. Again, put in the effort, you're going to get the results. I used to say to my daughters, have you ever put effort into something and didn't get the results that you wanted? No. Okay, so always put in 100% effort. You will see the results. They may not come right away, but you got to be consistent with it. So, and having you helping somebody, you're staying consistent. You're being called out on what you're doing. So yeah, this is brilliant. Okay, let's get into ghosting, breadcrumbing, and emotional avoidance. This seems to be a big thing. It's on social media. People are talking about ghosting more than ever. When we grew up, we didn't have social media. We didn't have any of these things. We would like a boy. We would hope he was asking us to the dance or to the party, and he didn't. Now, we didn't think about, is that ghosting? Is that this? Is he emotionally avoided? We didn't think. We just got our feelings hurt and we moved on, right? We didn't see a therapist over it. We didn't do. But because of social media, everything's become bigger, bigger, bigger. And, I had a crush on my next door neighbor, the biggest crush on him, and he never liked me. We ended up talking about it maybe 25 years ago because he used to be really mean to me. And a common friend got him on the phone and said, okay, can you apologize to Jody? And this was from 7th and 8th grade. So it's very funny how things change around, but ghosting.
I'm sure he's like, what an idiot I was. Look at Jody, Jesus. Like,
he kind of did.
I bet. He
kind of did say that.
Yeah. And you're like, people show us who they are. It's up to us to believe them. And if you were mean in 7th and 8th grade, you're probably mean now.
I know. So ghosting, it's out of control. Why is this so common today, Bella?
Because, the dating apps, this is one of the downsides. We feel like people are more disposable, right? And the next best match is in our inbox. And so we feel like we can just back away from somebody without telling them, like, look, I have rules for my clients about how to communicate with people on an ethical basis, right? And like, if you didn't have a great first date with somebody, they weren't feeling it, you weren't feeling it, and you don't hear from them, I don't consider that ghosting. And if you don't reach out to them, then you're not ghosting them. But if you had a good first date and they ask you out again, respond to the person to close the chapter. Like, you know what? I thought you were a really great guy. I loved your personality. I wasn't feeling a romantic connection. I think you're amazing and you're going to make somebody really happy someday. Be graceful. That's all you need to do.
It's just, right. People are treated as disposable and like, what's next? So I don't want to get too deep into it. So do you think that ghosting is more about the person who's doing it versus the person who's receiving it? Or because that's like a phenomenon now?
I mean, I think you have to define what ghosting means. And I think it means different things to different people. I've seen crazy people that will blow up my client's Bumble, for example. Like, they're just messaging, okay? And then if this person, my clients work, right? They have a life, and I don't have them keep their dating apps on all day. I'm like, turn off the notifications. So there are people that will occasionally message a client saying, 5 different messages. And by the end of it, on the 6th message, well, you're obviously not as interested as I am, so I'm deleting and blocking you. It's like, she was at work. Chill
working.
out.
Right, working.
Not
right.
Looking at the apps, because that's not what you do all day long. And if that person is that crazy to think that they were ghosted because somebody wasn't texting them back all day on a dating app, that's not ghosting.
So how would you define ghosting?
How about you tell me, and then I'll go with that.
Okay. I think ghosting is reaching out to somebody several times without a response. I think you give them 3 to 5 times, whether it's a call, whether it's a text, whether it's a DM. Somehow or another, you're communicating that you're interested in connecting with them again, and you get nothing in response.
I agree. And that doesn't just happen in dating. That can happen with friendships. That can happen right with the girlfriend. If you ask somebody to hang out 3 times and you don't hear anything back, to me, I'm like, it's your turn now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and this kind of stuff happens a lot. And I don't think people, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm not perfect. I have forgotten to text my friends back. I have forgotten to text my husband back, right? It's like, okay, oh God, I thought I texted you. Like, in my head, I responded. I just forgot to put my fingers to a keyboard, right? But if you've reached out to somebody that you're prospectively interested in, first of all, I wouldn't have you reach out to somebody 5 times that you were interested in. I don't want any of you, period, that are out there chasing anybody. You are worth so much more than that.
Bravo.
No chasing. No chasing. If you text someone once, I will allow, and you don't hear back, I allow something called a nudge. You can nudge them one more time, and then we're done. And that's on a dating app. That's texting, that's anything. It's now their turn.
I'm sure that you find men and women frustrated by or feeling stuck after you've told them this is what you need to do. I mean, you're being very tough on them in the most loving way. Like, this is what's best for you. I know this because I'm an expert at this, and I know what works and I know what doesn't work. Do you find that a lot of men and women, your clients, get stuck once they feel like they really like somebody, and then they, just go over it in their head so many times? Well, I should have done this, I should have done that, and I want to reach out to them again, even though you've said to them no. We gave them the nudge, nothing.
I think the benefit, Jody, of our clients is they have elected to work with us. They have signed up to have a system. They know the system. They know the why and why we're advising them in a certain way, because we teach them very clearly, here are the tenets and it works. And we will guide you through this so you don't have to fall down and skin your knee on your own. So typically we don't get a lot of pushback. There are times where our clients have been on like 4 or 5 dates with somebody and they're like, Bella, I know this is I just don't want to date other people, because we have our clients, we have a whole system. We have people creating dating funnels. Nobody's getting exclusive for 3 months. We keep the apps on. We're meeting people in real life. And so we just don't want people to settle too quickly, because red flags can come out anytime prior to exclusivity between dates 1 and date 15. So I look at dating as due diligence, and we're collecting information about how does this person behave date over date, right? Text over text. Does this person say something that's rude? Do they know how to apologize? Do they know how to give words of affirmation? Like, who is this person? And you only know that when you've spent a good amount of time with this person over repeated occasions.
Very interesting. And I'm sure you mirror, again, I said this at the beginning, what they're putting out there, because maybe, don't you think it always starts with us, right? It always starts with us.
It starts with us and bringing your best facet to the date.
Yeah.
The person you are when you're hanging out with your favorite people. Right? I call those people your elevator people, the people that elevate you. Who are you when you're with your elevator people, right? And I want my clients to find an elevator person to date. So this is part of the whole GPQ framework that we walk people through. So how do you feel when you're with the best people in your life, and why? And now you're going to emanate being an elevator person to attract someone who elevates you. So it all starts with you. You're right. And remember, we all carry what I call a mood quotient. If you walk in happy and interested and smiling and excited to see somebody, you will have a profound impact on that person's mood just by walking in with that energy. So often we're waiting for somebody to give that to us. So in our first session, we teach people about their body language and how we want them to show up to elevate the mood.
What is GP? There were 4.
GP. So we call it high and good partner qualities. Okay. So we have a whole framework that we take our clients through to figure out. So for example, Jody, your GPQs would be different than someone else who was maybe 30 and lived in New York or whatever it is. So everybody's process is bespoke, but it is a framework that we have, that we teach everybody. So yeah, it's GPQ, good partner qualities. We used to call it back in the day when I first started, because we had so many more women, we called it high GHQ, guys, high and good husband qualities. But not everybody wants a husband, right? People want partners, right? And we were starting to get men as clients, and now we have a lot of men. So we just made it more inclusive with good partner qualities.
I wanted to ask you about breadcrumbing, because that's also another word that we hear out there. And could it become something real, or is it always a dead end? And that seems to be something that I hear this from women about what men are doing that. And even when I watched the Golden Bachelor this year, I don't know if you got to watch it. Did you watch it?
Not much.
Okay.
It makes me crazy.
It wasn't very good, but I've never used the word breadcrumbing in my entire life, But for the first time, I heard myself, he's just giving them breadcrumbs. And I thought, oh, that must be what breadcrumbing is, where you just give them a little just to see if they'll eat. And then they want to come back for more, a little more, a little more. And you want to see how much little bit I can give them until they're chasing after me. So what do you think about that whole phenomenon? And what do you see as you're helping men and women date online? Do you see this?
Yeah. I mean, I think breadcrumbing can be like somebody ghost you and then a month later you get a hey, where you at, right? Like, what is that? Okay. So they keep you sort of lured in and you're like, okay, what is that? Or out of nowhere they suddenly like an Instagram post, right? That's all, but they don't text you back, right? That's kind of breadcrumbing-y. Like, hey, I just want a little bit of attention. To your point, here's a crumb, but that I don't actually want anything.
So
Or I
it's
don't want
really
anything with you.
right. It's about them. It's about getting validation, maybe.
Yeah. And they just want to know, wow, I've got 7 people in my orbit. I've got a bench of people and I can just throw them a crumb each time. I have no intention of dating any of them. But I just like to know for my ego that I could.
How can women tell? This is a big question. How can women tell the difference between someone who is emotionally unavailable versus someone who's simply cautious or slow moving?
Time. You can't tell that immediately. You can continuously tell. This is why we have a 15-date rule with our clients. Nobody gets exclusive prior to that. And you can start to see why, to look for red flags, to look for all your GPQs, to see, is this person an elevator person, right? And then to see how they begin to show up. There's a lot of flake points, date 4, date 8, date 12. People, you as they're emotionally avoidant, you start to see them just start to pull the plug at those points. When it feels like it could be real, they back off.
So you have them go on 15 dates? So
With
they
the
could be
person.
going on seeing like 4 people and going, and they have to go through 14 dates for you to say, okay, I think this one is a good one for you. Is that what you're saying? Because it gives them enough time to see different parts of their personality.
Let me put this into perspective for you. So the answer is yes. Now, why do I do that? Okay. Most people operate under a 3-date rule. If there's 3 good dates, they're going to be exclusive. Let's say the dates are 2 hours apiece. Okay. Even 2 times 3 is 6 hours. That's not even Monday at work.
Such a good point.
Right? Now, if I say 15 dates, let's say the dates are 3 hours apiece. Over 3 months, that's 45 hours. It's not even 2 full days.
Wow.
But I like the interstitial spaces in between because then you see, how do they communicate? Are they responsive? If they say you're not able to do this, do they freak out? So there's a lot of science behind what we're having people do. It doesn't feel comfortable for them because they're ready to, people want instant gratification. They want bachelor kind of love. They want love in 3 dates. I'm like, that's on the big screen because it never happens. They should say 5 years later, ... as they're sitting in the divorce attorney's office.
Right, right. I remember, do you know who Dr. Laura is? She's way back, like I think she's in her 70s or 80s. Dr. Laura Schlesinger.
Yes, I remember her.
She was like, when I was listening to her, I think she was on NPR or something. I don't remember, but I was pregnant with my youngest. So she was born in 93. So it was a long time ago. And I remember listening to Dr. Laura and she was saying, you shouldn't marry anybody until you've known them for 3 years because you've gone through probably, a happy time, gone to a wedding, gone to a funeral, I've gone out with friends. You've experienced a lot of life with that person. So after 3 years, you should know if this is your person or not. But that was usually her deadline for people.
I think I would say that it depends on someone's age, right? If I have a client that's 37 years old and wants to get married and have kids, 3 years is a lot of time off her fertility clock, right?
Right.
And so what we do is, again, when it's willy-nilly and random, you need a whole lot of time. When you have a system, which is what we do, For me, I'm like, I want to watch your relationship for 4 seasons, right? For a year. Our
Yes.
typical client starts with us for a year. Now, when you're picking the right way from the get-go and you have help and you are asking the right questions. I had a client who just finished up her year, re-signed on with us today for another year, lives in Georgia. She has a 9-year-old. She's a single mom, and she is super happy with a guy that lives an hour from her. He never had kids. And now she's like, I finally introduced him to my son last weekend. And I said, this year now it's about integration. How do you integrate him slowly into your 9-year-old's life? How do you spend more time with him one-on-one, but having him also see if he can be a partner to your son long-term? That's really important.
So this
He's
is
like,
really
you're not going anywhere for a year. I'm like, no, but we're so in it, Jody. People think, I'm like, we're not magicians. I mean, we have a great system. And when we walk you through it and we're there for you through the process, that's how success happens.
my next question was about inconsistent behavior. And a lot of women complain about, well, he's this way and then he's that way. And, he's in, then he's out, then back again. How does a woman avoid that, or a man avoid that? But mostly everybody who listens to the show is a woman. And how do you avoid being with somebody who gives you that inconsistent behavior? I would say just move on. It doesn't work for you anymore, right? But are you that
Right.
straightforward?
Yeah. Like if somebody isn't, if you say, hey, let's say you've been on 8 great dates with somebody over the course of 2 months, and you're like, hey, I would love to just hear from you, like on dates, on times we don't see each other. Let's just like shoot a text at the end of the day. And if this person says to you, or they like, no, or they're like, sure, I'll do that, and they do nothing, right? Those are signs that this person isn't respecting your wishes. I would rather have you say, you know what, I'm not able to do that. But what I could do is I could FaceTime you twice a week, right? At least
Okay.
tell me where you are. And then I like when words and actions match.
Integrity.
That's it.
Integrity is to me, it's like everything. Make sure that your actions match your words. Like, don't tell me something and then do something different.
And for 2026, what I want all of you listening to think about is this is your year to date really smartly. And it's your year to use your voice. If you don't know something, or you're curious about something, or something feels odd, ask the question that you want to know. Ask it from a place of love, not from a place of accusation, right? If you're wondering, what does this guy want long term? Does he want a relationship? Does he want to just date? You can say on the 4th date, hey, I'm curious. I'm looking for a long-term relationship. Like, where do you see yourself in 2 years? Ask.
I think that's a very important question to ask, especially if you're in your 30s and you're looking to get married, have a family. And what if somebody responds, because I've heard this from women, they respond with, well, I don't even know if I'm going to be alive tomorrow. I don't know. I'm living in the moment. Ugh.
Yuck.
Right. Run.
You want somebody with clarity. You're not here to accept crumbs. If somebody says, I don't know what I'm looking for, would you take them on as a client? No. Why would you take them on as a boyfriend?
Right. Right. Could you give some advice to women, if they're not women who are not working with you, that how do they avoid like texting and texting for so long, but then never getting a date? And then also somebody who wants to meet in person, but it never really happens. How do you keep the momentum? So you've got, this is what I hear, women texting, they're like, but he never makes any plans. We don't make any plans. And how do I keep the momentum going? Like, when are we going to meet? What type of advice can you give to these women?
Move it along. If somebody just keeps texting you, you can just say, hey, you know what? It'd be great to put a face to a name. How about we FaceTime? And if somebody asks you out for a date right away, have a FaceTime first, or a Zoom. You could potentially avoid the 3 worst hours of your life
Right.
by doing a FaceTime. Okay.
I remember you suggesting that the first best date is FaceTime.
100%. Why wouldn't it be? Right. And the funny thing is, if you think about it, I haven't met you in person, and yet I feel like you're like inner circle for me because we
Same.
not only talked on the phone, but we've been on Zoom together, right? And I would look at you and like want to eat you up when I met you, like give you a huge hug
Right.
because we're so connected via technology, and we've done Zooms and we've done Instagrams and we've talked on the phone, and that's why. So you can build these connections digitally as well in between your dates.
Right. It's no different than meeting a friend. I mean, I've met the most wonderful people. I do feel like it is weird that I have never met you. And when I was talking about to somebody about having you on their show, and they said, "Did you ever?" I've never met. I said, "I've never met her in person." I was this close to meeting you last week, but it never happened. And so it is crazy, but we've built a friendship. We are friends.
Well, and I would say we have met each other in person. This is in person. We
That's
just haven't
true.
physically been in
Hugged
the
each other.
same room together,
Right.
right? So it's like, what is she like in person? I would say Jody's absolutely amazing in person. Like,
Right.
right? So we have met in person. We just
Right.
haven't been in the same space.
I love that. I love that. So, where do you see the future of dating, like in the next few years? Do you think the apps are going to continue to blow up? Do you feel that people want to meet in person more? I know we talked about not hating the apps and working within them because I think that is the future. But do you see people craving to meet more in person? And what's your take on all of that?
I think people always remember dating apps are just a way to get to an in person date. When people say, "Oh, I want to meet people in person," I'm like, an app just gives you a bigger deal flow to get to an in person date. So sometimes people don't look at things in that way. I think meeting people in real life is great. Go to events, find things that you're actually interested in so that even if you walk into an event and it's 90% women and 10% men, you might make some new friends. You might feel a connection to a woman whose brother is single and she'll hook
Exactly.
you up, right? So go to things that actually bring you joy, right? If you're not a bar person, don't go hang out in a bar, right? But you know what? If you're the kind of person who says, "Oh, you know what? I like margaritas. I'm going to grab a friend and we're going to go to this happy hour at this place." Or maybe, just think about the things you like. Maybe you're a runner. Go join a running club, join a walking club in new neighborhoods. There's dining clubs. There's so many things if you just venture out of your comfort zone. Love is on the other side of your comfort zone.
It's so true. Art Basel was in Miami last week, and I did not, people come for the parties and everything. I went to the convention center and looked at all the beautiful art, talked to people, and it was so nice. I sat down to eat by myself, and there was a man, he came down and sat at my table. It was like, lots of people could sit at the table. And we just started talking. Not anybody I would be interested in, but it was just, to your point, it was nice to just sit in a place that I wanted to be, a beautiful art exhibit with people that were interested in the same things that I was interested in, just chat about why are you here? What brought you here? Just chatting to new people, bringing new people into your life. He gave me his card. I didn't call him, not interested, but it was lovely. And just talking to people while you're looking at an exhibit.
Totally.
Yeah, it is. It's just about putting yourself in those places where you do feel comfortable, but it is uncomfortable at first. You are going someplace by yourself. That's okay. All right, I have a few more questions for you. Do you have like 5 more minutes left?
Sure.
Okay. Should women message first or wait for men to initiate?
Ladies, you have the steering wheel of your life in every other aspect. Message first. Who cares?
Great. I love that. I love that. What are the best types of opening lines for starting conversations online?
Hi, John. Great to meet you. Easy.
Why do people make it so complicated? You don't have to be so creative. You don't have to be a literature major to know what to say, right? I think everybody thinks too much.
Just say, if I messaged you on an app, wouldn't you be fine if I said, "Hi, Jody, how's your day going?"
100%.
I love that you're a person that you are into personal training. The best decision I've made was to hire a trainer. You know what? Like, what are you excited about right now?
Yeah,
That's it.
right. Like, be yourself. Be yourself.
100%.
And if you're a dud, we'll help you not be a dud so you can meet the kind of person you want, because we know
Yeah.
you don't want to meet a dud. And maybe you're a dud right now because you don't feel like anything's going your way. But damn it, get to the other side and you'll find that person. Okay. How can we maintain confidence when online dating feels discouraging and draining? That's why people hate the apps, because they feel discouraged and then they lose their confidence. They don't want to go back. And then they just say, and this is what I see in so many women over 60, I'm okay. I'm okay. I like being with my dog. I'm with my grandchildren all the time. I don't need to go out. Ask me any show on TV, I know it. And it makes me so sad to hear friends of mine, beautiful woman, inside and out, educated, like just beautiful women. And I hear them saying that, and it really breaks my heart.
Look, here's what I'd say. If you're happy being single, you're in the best possible place, because when we're happy, we're at our most attractive. But the pizza guy is not going to probably be your next husband, right? So get on the apps and just, I think you have to maintain hope. Hope is everything.
Beautiful.
And if you don't have hope, of course you're going to feel despondent and depressed. You know, I'm beyond hopeful. I'm what we call psychotically optimistic.
You are.
Love exists for every single one of you that wants it out there. You just have to learn something new and do some new things, right? And if you have to have hope. And just because sometimes it feels like the Sahara Desert on the apps, there are times if you stick it out, it's going to feel like it's raining men, hallelujah. You just have to make it through those times. And the most important thing is, don't take it personally. Message all different kinds of people. You know, don't be that person who's looking for Brad Pitt online. Guess what? You and every other person on the app is bombarding that person. Look for people. It's like going to Nordstrom Rack. You want to find good inventory that's undervalued and underpriced. Look on the apps for people, for someone who's maybe, I don't know what he is, but he's a little different. Maybe you're not like, oh, he's the hottest guy I've ever seen, but I like what he says. Or maybe she's, you know, a little farther away than I'd like to drive, but you know what? She looks really interesting. I like the fact that she's an English teacher, but a marathon runner. That's interesting to me, right? Look for people that aren't the perfect 10s online, because there's so much more. There's so many more people out there that could be good for you. It's just 6 photos and 200 characters. Underneath every one of those is a real person that's living, breathing with a life story.
Do you feel that many of your clients come to you while they're trying to rebuild their confidence?
Yeah, all the time. You know, right now, my youngest client is a 20-year-old man who's a sophomore in college, and his mom is so smart. And she says, my son is on the spectrum and he thinks everybody hates him. Can you help him build his confidence? And I was like, oh, absolutely. So dating is about skills building. The earlier you start to build skills, confidence comes from one place, right? It doesn't come from looking in the mirror and going, I'm great. It comes from doing the reps.
Over and over and over again, and knowing you can do it again and again.
And that's why they're called repetitions.
That's right.
You do the thing again and again. So with this boy, I have him in his classes. You know, he's like, people don't like me. I just don't think they respond well to me. And I said, I want you to look for evidence this week. I just want you to watch when you walk into a room, how do people respond to you in class? And he said to me, people seem to respond fairly positively to me. I'm like, Okay, that's a big freaking deal. I said, now I want you to make what I call micro connections. Now that you're starting to build your confidence that the world doesn't hate me, look around and just make easy breezy conversation with somebody in the cafeteria line, somebody that's sitting in your class, and watch the evidence. Nobody's going to give you the middle finger for trying to make conversation with them. Gen Z has it really hard right now. And for those of us that are millennials, Gen X, boomers, right? We had to learn these skills earlier. These kids have grown up with technology to entertain them. They didn't have to go, knock on a neighbor's door and play kickball or be lonely all day long, right? And so confidence is about skills building, and it's never too early and it's never too late.
Those are very wise words. I think that, bringing this totally full circle, it's having a plan, being consistent, being taught the right skills to reach your goal. The goal is, I'd like to find a partner. I'd like to fall in love. I'd like to have a husband, wife in my life. What do I need to get there? Because as we said at the beginning, we didn't go to dating school. We didn't learn these skills. So we have somebody like your academy teaching us these things. And with these things that we do consistently build confidence. And then the conversations, I'm sure, get easier and easier and easier. And hopefully it brings them to love, right? Like you said, you haven't had one person divorced. That's huge. That's
follow the system. You need
follow the
help.
system.
Have a trainer, have a plan, and then have somebody help make you stick to the plan. Because remember, knowledge is not power. Execution is power. Doing the right thing in the right moment.
This is just, every time I have you on the show, I learn more and more. And I'm also, as you know, in different phases of my life. So I'm hearing, isn't this interesting? And I'm sure you have this with your clients. I'm hearing the information differently because I'm in a different place. Does that make sense?
That. You know what I call it? I say your tuner's tuned into the right station. The voices are always out there, right? Everything we need to hear in the world is around us all the time. It's, did you put the tuner to the right radio station so you can hear that voice? And your tuner's in the right place now, my friend, to get you out there and date. So you are ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'll be there very soon, hopefully. Where can our listeners find you?
First of all, come to our website, smartdatingacademy.com, sign up for our mailing list. You can follow me on Instagram at Smart Dating Academy and listen to my podcast, the Smart Dating Academy podcast.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for helping all of our listeners here learn how to date smarter. If you're really, really serious about finding the love of your life, reach out to Bela, Smart Dating Academy. Personally, she's a wonderful friend. And even though we've never met each other in the same room, but this is this has been proven to work. So thank you so much for creating this for people who need it. We need it more and more because if we let the animal control us, it's going to kill us and we're going to just give up. And I love what you said about hope, because if we're not hopeful, it's what are we doing every single day? So thank you so much, my friend, for being on the show today.
Thank you for the honor of being on your show.
And everybody, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. And until next week, go live your most fearlessly authentic life. Bye-bye, everyone.